See what's Odds and Durba has to say.
Hello friends, this is Odds, and if you don't know me very well, I'm a big Dead by Daylight enthusiast. I've been playing this game for 3 or 4 years, and especially for the last 2 or 3, I've been making content, videos, streams almost every day. And that's because I love the game. I'm very invested in the community. I joined the Fog Whisperer program to get closer to the depths, to hopefully steer the game into the best possible direction it can take. I make guides for new players. I sometimes host and showcase or take part in community events. I really love the community. In return, the community to me has been basically nothing but amazing. I've been, you know, blessed to have an amazing community. People have been very nice to me. And the game itself has been really fun, with some hiccups, but overall really fun for years.
See, that's like how I feel, right? Like this, because that's how I feel. I don't hate this game, but there's like you said, there's some hiccups that are like really frustrating to deal with. Like the game itself is not bad, but like Wesker just top to the bottom. 30-centimeter grab range, fucking like flying across the map with like complete urgency, very little counterplay, always and they're always running too slow down and try harding like that stuff like that. Just, you know, it's like it just gets under your skin sometimes, you know. But like the rest of the game is fine. It's just that thing is super frustrating and it happens often. So, you know,
it's come to a point where I almost dread streaming this game. I feel like I am very helpless at making the game better for the community, and I don't have any fun when I stream it. Number one reason is cheaters. Every now and then, especially as a streamer, you get a guy that starts flying around. The game literally will not end. They'll hold you hostage until the server ends the game in 2 hours. You need to sit there for 2 hours. And if you quit, and I'm no exception, make no mistake, if you quit, now you have a 5-minute penalty. If they get you again, now it's a 15-minute penalty, and so on. So cheaters love the attention that they get from streaming me, stream sniping me, and getting other streamers, and they do this constantly. And it's very annoying, because now I need to dodge anyone that looks dodgy. Private profile, I dodge you. Anonymous mode, I dodge you. Seen you before and your name is, I dodge you. Which is really unfun to do, mind you. Maybe even worse.
If you've ever actually been in an OTT stream, like recently, like OTT is like, OTT has to really like keep the rails going like a lot when it comes to this. And it's not even just like the hacking and the cheating thing. It's like a lot of like, you know, it's like kind of the conversations we sometimes have here where somebody's like, well, if only they didn't just, you know, they should just nerf all survivors or something like that, or they should just nerf all killers, like the off the wall stuff people say. He has like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people in his chat. So a lot of that is like curbing that kind of like biased bonehead conversations that a lot of the DBD community likes to have, while dealing with cheaters, while dealing with possibly catching somebody soft hacking, while dealing with somebody like, you know, potentially holding you hostage. It's like you know, like when you first get into this and you're like I want to stream DBD, or like even if you don't want to stream, like if you're just like I want to get in the DBD community and you see Odds and you're like, wow, he's in a great place, and that's enviable. I don't envy him a lot. Or sorry, it's up here. I don't envy him a lot, because I would hate to have thousands of people like kind of like pitching their own version of the story in their heads of like how DBD actually is, while dealing with cheaters and stream snipers and all this stuff. Like that's that is a lot to handle all at once, and that's honestly why a lot of people regard him highly. He's a nice guy, like, first off, right? But second off, the stuff he puts up with, not for the faint of heart.
Then these blatant cheaters are the subtle cheaters. The subtle cheaters are the people that have cheats. Maybe they see you through a wall, maybe they move 2% faster than normal, but they don't make it very obvious. So from now on, since we know that there's so many cheaters, anytime something happens in a game that is a little bit off, I just don't believe it anymore. I drop chase with people because I think they're cheating.
And you know what? You know what's the funny part about that too? Is if you as a streamer say anything about that, you're the laughing stock, right? Because if you as the streamer say something like, oh, that looked like they were soft hacking, or that looked like they were speed hacking, everybody, like, even if there's no way to prove it on either side, everybody's like, wow, you just can't take your losses wow, you're just looking for an excuse why you lost. Wow, what a complaining streamer. Like, you can't even say that. And realistically, there's probably a lot of people doing that, especially because of the free weekend that happened on Epic a long time ago. People are probably, especially with the new streamer mode where they can just hide it, they don't even get to lose their accounts anymore. Like, they can just hide who they are, right? Behavior says the report system works without needing Steam ID, but you know, up until this point, that hasn't been the case. So what suddenly changed, you know? So, like, if you even try to point that out or like, you know, try to like accuse someone who may actually be doing it, you're the laughing stock. You get made fun of, which is why you hear me like never accuse anybody of anything ever again, you know, because like everybody makes fun of you. Like everybody, like nobody ever believes you, even if that was actually happening. So like, why even point it out? I just hate when streamers accuse everybody of stream sniping. Yeah, and that's the back end. That's the back end, right? Because now there's gonna be a whole group of people who know that the game is ripe with hacking, so they're gonna be like, oh well, every time I'm losing, it's because speed hacking. Okay, I'm gonna say something, and this is probably gonna hurt some people's feelings in chat, and I'm sorry about that. There are a lot of people who come into chat and tell me, oh, I had a hacker the other day, and I can guarantee you 90% of the time you say that, you didn't. I can guarantee 90% of the time somebody comes into this chat and tells me, oh, I had a hacker the other day. That wasn't what was happening. That I can guarantee that's probably not what happened. You probably ran into somebody who ran into like the corner, like, oh, they're scratch marks. They had no scratch marks. They probably ran into the corner of like a shadow step boon for like half a second, and it was just like really disorienting. And you're just like, oh, well, they cheated, you know? Or somebody's faster than me, even though I'm like 115 killing, they're 100, and if like I had actually looked at the footage, they're like, their pathing's really freaking awful, and that's why they can't catch up. Like the way that, because like you notice like both the survivor and killer, I really hug things really tightly, and don't try to. And when you notice a lot of ways I actually lose chase, which is a personal problem that I have as a killer, is by mind gaming too much. I mind game a little too much, and I lose a lot of distance doing that. But like a lot of people are like, oh, speed hacking. Oh, they're soft hacking. And I guarantee that's not what's actually happening. I guarantee that's like, are there soft hackers out there? Yes. Have you probably run into one? Yes. Is it happening as often as I see people come in and say, no, it's not. It's really not. So, yeah.
I record my games and watch them again and analyze everything because things just don't look right anymore. Sometimes people that are actual cheaters don't even stand out very much. There's videos, and you can watch one right here where someone was cheating and it was impossible to tell until they made a mistake.
I think this is the auto dead hard one.
That are not cheaters, but they get very lucky or something crazy happens, and I think that they are cheaters, which is also really unfair for them. So the whole cheating situation is disgraceful, and I wish I could tell you that there's good news on the horizon, but as far as I know, this is not going anywhere. It's not getting any changes. Behavior is not communicating anything to us whether this is gonna become better. So very.
That's the other thing, is like behavior doesn't say anything. That's the messed up part. Like they just pretend it's not happening. And I think that inspires so much lack of hope and faith in like what's going on. I was talking about this last night with Uzi while we were playing. Was that last night or was that the other night? Anyways, we were playing DBD, and I was like, either they literally don't know how to fix this, and that's why they're not saying anything, or they don't care. Because like, how can you have such a rampant hacking problem in your game and not even acknowledge it? Like, not even like say anything. And to me, that, like I said, that boils down to like one or two things. Either they are overwhelmed and they don't know how to fix it at all, or the sadder fact is maybe they just don't care. Maybe as long as they're getting money, fixing that doesn't matter to them. Because realistically, and this is the dark side of this too, it's mostly streamers, right? Let's say you do get one of those hackers that's flying around and doing all that stuff. If there's no streamer in the lobby, they just do all 5 gens and leave immediately, right? And then everybody else just kind of goes, oh, okay. And then they requeue, right? Unless you're a streamer, you're not really getting held hostage. So it's really only affecting the streaming community. So unless, you know, somebody like, you know, which is probably why he's doing this, like Otts, you know, steps up and says something, a majority of their player base isn't actually being affected by this issue, so they don't care. They're still getting their money, so why does it matter? You know? So It's one of the two. It might be both even, but it's just disheartening to hear just deafening silence. How are we in a situation where the DDoS bug that happened last year in December is back and they still just are like, whatever, whatever. Like so much of your player base is in danger of being DDoSed, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. And when people ask me, it's like, well, Bran, why don't you want to be a fog whisperer? It's like, this is what I would have to endorse. This is what I would have to endorse. I would have to endorse a company that, like, oh, you're getting DDoSed? That sucks. I'm not going to say anything. Oh, hacking problem rampant? People being held hostage everywhere? Hey, would you like another poll? Okay, like I don't want to endorse that. I don't want to endorse that. Like, what? I would have to sit there and be like, yeah, this is okay. Like, no, I wouldn't be cool with that. No, I wouldn't. The wiggle bug? Oh, Lord.
Very unfortunate stuff. And another thing that has recently been happening is a surge of stream snipers. You guys know I have a 50-win series. You might have seen it, where I try to take the game very seriously. I play a killer without add-ons. I try to get really good at them, get many wins in a row. And the point of this is not just to get a cool get a cool clickbait title, but the point is to get better at the killer, right? Test myself, get consistent, understand how to play them without add-ons, different maps, different situations. And sometimes you lose and it's not a big deal. We've lost a lot of times in the past. Now the queues are a bit slower, but it's okay. You get back to it, right? Well, last time I lost it, it felt a bit bad. The survivors knew a little bit too much. They played a little bit too well. Their names were familiar, but I didn't think much of it, right? Then I kept my streak again, played a bunch of new matches, and then I lost it again to the same people. Wow, well, that's a coincidence, but you know, they're probably good survivors, and sometimes you lose against good survivors, so not a big deal, right? And then the next day, I play with crossplay off. And when you play with crossplay off, you literally only play against people that also have crossplay off. And who do you think shows up? The same people. And when I look back through my boss and I look at the names, I realize I'm playing against the same 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people on
every single time his streak ends, it's always the same 4 people.
Enough. I'm seeing the same names in my lobby. Sometimes they are cheeky. They change their profile, they change their name. They think that we don't notice if they do that. And they try to hide it. And sometimes, you know, in the post game, they'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm a big fan." They'll pretend, they'll play nice. They'll pretend that they don't know anything. I look up this person's account and I realize that they have multiple accounts. None of them are their main, so they have multiple alternative accounts, right? Some of them are banned recently. Why would you get banned recently? All right. And then when I check their socials and I see their YouTube, they literally have a banner that calls themselves, they self-proclaim themselves as Stream Sniper. You just can't make this stuff up, honestly. Like, you just can't make it up. But yeah, before I ramble and go off the rails, the main point that I'm trying to make here is that I don't feel safe playing Dead by Daylight on stream. On top of having to look out for malicious snipers, I need to look out for hijacking cheaters, for subtle cheaters that make me mistrust everything and everyone. And if that wasn't enough, a couple weeks ago, after I played with a cheater, my IP got compromised and it looks like I got DDoS.
Yeah, and they're not saying anything about it.
My stream completely imploded and I had to call the day off until I sorted it out. This also happened to some other streamers. I found out sometime after that this might be the same IP leak problem that affected streamers last year. You guys remember?
Yeah.
We had very late acknowledgement that this was being looked into, and apparently it might have never been fixed. Apparently.
How do you do that? How do you do that? You've known about this issue for a year. You've known about this vulnerability for a year. And you just go, how do you leave your player base at such a vulnerable place? And you just go, well, hope you had a VPN. How do you do that? How, like, where does that make sense? How does that make sense?
But do I know for sure? No, I don't know for sure. So now I need to play with a VPN. I need to dodge anonymous people. I need to dodge private profiles. If a profile is public, I need to probably do some detective work to make sure it's not someone on an alt account. I need to play with a stream delay. I need to hide my perks. Like, what is this? It's like showing up to a party and you're so scared of everything that you're wearing a hazmat suit. It's just not reasonable. It's just not fun. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from.
Well, like, the idea, I guess the idea used to be, Florence, was that if you like entertained the idea of like the hacker or like on your stream, then you would if you entertain the idea of a hacker on stream, well, a lot of the ways that hackers like promote their stuff, like promote the hacks, is by going like, hey, remember on Otz's stream the other day where that guy was flying around, you know, like that could be yours, you know. So that was kind of the idea behind that, was like, you know, don't give it attention because they literally make more sales off the cheats by doing that. But it's gotten out of hand, so they're like, you know, I feel like awareness is probably more important than deriving them of money.
And you don't think I'm just doing this to gather attention or create drama. It's just a really, really sad state of affairs, and I hope that I can make a follow-up video very soon with great news. I'm really, really, really hoping that that's the case. Until then, though, thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, so I don't know, dude. It's just like, how is this a thing? Like, how are you cool with this? Like, I just like, and another thing is like, and this is like a little bit of an aside, is like a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to play DBD right now because I feel unsafe. Like, it's mostly just the streamers, right? You are for the most part safe. I want to say that with my chest right here, because that's been a thing I've been saying a lot. It's like, I'm not going to play DBD because this sounds dangerous. You're fine. You're not a big streamer. The hackers don't care about you. They really don't. You may get a soft hacker that's just like speed hacking so they could win. But like, you're not gonna get held hostage. You're not gonna get hard hackers. That's not gonna happen. Like, realistically, that's not gonna happen. But you know, don't be afraid to play DBD because of this. You know, don't acknowledge it because it'll let the cheater feel acknowledged. Yeah, which like makes sense. And also, like I said earlier, with like the financial aspect of that is like the advertisement. They're advertising to people. The cheats themselves, but yeah, I feel like definitely at this point, like, ignoring the problem is not making it go away. Right? I feel like ignoring the problem is not making it go away. It's really not. Like, ignoring the problem is not making it not happen, because like the devs just don't care for whatever reason. I don't know why. Are they unable to fix it? Do they not see it as financially viable to fix it? Like, the silence is deafening. Either way, we can make a lot of like conjecture on what the reason possibly is, but the silence is deafening, and it really does suck. There was another one posted by not Spooks Andrews, Spooky Loops.
What is up, YouTube? It's Spooky Loops, and I hope you're having a better day than I am.
It does have to be on stream.
I'm a little
Okay,
under the weather today, so I'm getting a little bit of a scratchy throat. Anyways, I wish I was uploading something to the channel that was a new build or something involving new content or something a video that's just DBD, that's just fun to watch. But unfortunately, I am reporting and uploading a video about something that has been plaguing my stream, my community, in my time, really, for the past 2 or 3 months now. Dead by Daylight has a massive cheater problem. And I know for sure that every video game out there, regardless if it's any type of, you know, shooter game or MMO or even Fall Guys, for instance, are plagued with cheaters as well too. And there's always... Yeah,
that's another aspect to this. Is like this isn't like a DBD only thing, realistically. Like, a lot of games have had massive cheater problems. Like COD infamously, like, recently had awful cheater problems, like aimbots and stuff like that, and it was really awful. But the problem is they acknowledged it and they did something about it. Like, they did go in and do stuff about that. They didn't just like leave it to rot, right? Like they did actually do things about those. They didn't just like say, oh, whatever, you know. So yeah.
Somebody out there to try to go and get that competitive edge and stuff like that. But in DBD, there's really two, and I have seen both variations of them. More frequent than I would like to admit. I've been playing Dead by Daylight for going on almost 3.5 years now.
Wow.
And you see cheaters here and there, and actually one of my original uploads to this channel was me about playing against a hire cheaters swift. So they were kind of like a rarity. They were just something that would eventually just pop in, and they would harass you in the game and grief you and stuff like that. And once the game was over, it was a GG, go next and report and move on. But now it's to the point where I am encountering cheaters every third or fourth game that I play. The majority of the interactions that I have with
I am a small streamer, so this doesn't affect me as much. But I will say, I've gotten a hacker like once a week. I used to get a hacker like once a month, if that. I've had a hacker once a week since this like uprise of like the sudden like uprise of like the hackers for some reason. Like I've had a hacker like once a week, like ever since this has happened. And I'm not even a big streamer. I'm not even a big streamer, so like, why is this happening? Like, even then, it's like, even for lower Andes like me, it's like, even that's starting to like have a problem.
These kind of individuals or this group of cheaters is when I'm streaming live on Twitch, and I think there's a really good reason as to why that happens. But it does happen offline too, when I'm just recording for YouTube content.
Yeah, that's where a lot of it happens. Like. That's why you don't see a lot of like builds from my channel. Like I'll do a build every once in a while, just because like I want to mix it up a little bit. But like the last 2 times I have tried to record a build video, I've gotten a hacker while trying to get like good match footage, and it slows down the process. It really does. Like I was doing the Halloween Myers at RPD. There was a match I got a hacker doing that. So out of a sample of 3 matches, like one of them got ruined just because of a hacker. And then of course the one that I told you guys about a while back, which was like I was gonna do like a pallet shredder, like Wesker build when Wesker first came out. The first match I attempted to record for that got a hacker, and I just like didn't even finish the video because I was just like demotivated from that point on. Like it's not even like only on stream, it's off stream too. Like it's so annoying.
I'll encounter some cheaters. It's just not as much, but definitely more prominent when it comes to the streaming side. And there's 2 different types of cheaters. You have, on one hand, you have the cheaters that really don't give a shit, that are flying around the map, making it extremely blatant. You can't catch them. They're blinding you in all different types of angles. And then you have the subtle cheaters. And it's not just unique to the Fog Whisperer program. It's happening to a lot of other creators that are not a part of the program. And the reason is what's happening is you go into a game and you try your best to use all the new things that DVD is offering as far as the anonymous mode and streamer mode and match delay mode, where essentially what it does, it delays your queue time, from my understanding, so that you can get into a game, so it's harder for people to stream snipe you, essentially. As far as my understanding, this cheater group is able to really just input and plug themselves into any lobby they want to.
Yeah, that was the thing that like Choi had initially found out. Choi found out through his connections to the hacker community that they can get who they want. They can get whoever they want. They can street snipe whoever. Like all this stuff that we have to deal with, like queues, and to like naturally, quote unquote, like naturally stream sight someone just using the tools of the game. Like they don't have to deal with that. They can just do whatever.
So what are the 2 different types
of console streamers? I'd imagine so, yeah.
On one hand, how a typical match with a cheater that is very blatant starts off is you won't notice it at first. You kind of get invested into the match like you normally would, and then you start noticing little subtle things. Maybe they're moving a little too fast, or you got stunned or blinded at an angle that really didn't make sense. And so, you kind of keep going on with the match. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're just kind of a little paranoid about this cheater stuff happening.
It was Shadowborn, that's a reach.
To be worse, to the point where then once you call it out and you recognize this person is cheating, and that's kind of usually when they pop the top off and they just let their entire config go wild. And a lot of it's usually a lot of audible and visual stuff that is very disorienting, making a bunch of blowing up gen noises and flying around the map and clicking and screaming and stuff like that. Very obnoxious shit, to be honest. And it's also, what sucks is there's also the survivors that are in there. If they're not a part of that, usually they'll just be like, yo, hook me and get me out, or disconnect. But then on the other hand, you have the other people that think, they look at it like a car crash where they can't look away. They stay involved in the match, but they are unkillable. You cannot get them. Even if you have max stack, say the best for last, you may be able to get them down, but there is literally nothing you're going to be able to do to end that match. Then on the other hand, you have the subtle cheaters, which me personally, I think are worse, because they're able to do things that kind of make you question your own sanity.
Yep.
When you're playing in a game of Dead by Daylight, where it's just like, okay, well, you're chasing a survivor around, a relatively unsafe area, or maybe shack, for instance, and you're dropping chase, and the chase is concluded, and the music stops, and you're wondering, like, yeah, maybe I just made a bad move, but I should be speeding up with bloodlust. Just like slight little things like that, or generators getting done a little bit too quickly than normal, stuff like that. And those are kind of the worst, because they're kind of the closet cheaters, where they just do it just to get that little bit of an edge so that they can outperform you.
Oh my god, look at that boil over. Holy moly,
Now, going back to the first type of cheater, the reason as to why I think myself and Otts and other big creators more towards the top part of Dead by Daylight are getting consistently plagued by these cheaters is because they're going and they're advertising and soliciting their programs and cheats in front of a live audience. It's like a live demonstration for free.
Yep.
So the thing that frustrates me the most is, out of all the hard work and hours and time and stress that I put into building this channel, whether it's on Twitch and YouTube over years, just watching someone just essentially hijack my stream, and I can't do anything about it.
Well, they don't care because they don't have any talent. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's special about them was bought from a program. Everything special about them, they purchased. They don't have your talent. I've watched his videos before. His videos are cool. They don't have his personality. They don't have his partnership. They don't have his content creation grind. They don't have the things that are cool about this person. They don't have talent, so they have to buy it. And if that doesn't do it, they gotta get that joy and that feeling of fulfilledness from someone else, by taking from someone else. If you can't be special on your own, so many people undercut other people to feel special. And that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. If I can never have a platform like this guy, I might as well just hijack his platform. I might as well just hold him hostage in a game so everybody can laugh and point at him while I'm the funny hacker guy, because I don't have talent. I can't build something like this. I can't do something that's really difficult like this. I can't do that. So at least I can ruin it. If I can't make it, at least I can ruin it. And it's literally like the most disgusting thing. Just miserable, unconfident little rats. Like literally the most awful kind of people.
Some of you may not think that that's really a big deal. Okay, just disconnect. Just go, GG, go next, just leave. But the problem is if I disconnect from the game, then I'm going to have a penalty for that.
Yeah, you're punished.
And then if they catch me again, then the penalty will just grow and grow over time.
Yep.
To the point where I can't even touch the game. And that's a fucking problem, man.
Yeah.
And me personally, I refuse to disconnect. Actually, as a matter of fact, while you're watching and I'm recording this video right now, I'm going to switch scenes over here just so you know.
Oh my God.
This is me in a game. I've been in with this person for about an hour and a half now. The only thing that I can do in this situation is, once the endgame collapse has been triggered and the timer goes down, usually you would imagine that the game ends. Unfortunately, it doesn't. The server collapses after 2 hours of total playtime.
Oh my God.
This is the
That's what
second
Ops was
event
talking about.
in 1 week that I've had to do this, because I refuse to disconnect. I would rather sit here right now with this cheater until that timer expires. One, because I refuse to take a DC penalty. And two, if I have them in here, they can't be out cheating and ruining somebody else's time.
It's wild. He was recording this while being held hostage.
You gotta think of the solution here. How does behavior fix a cheating problem? Well, obviously, one, get a better anti-cheat, right? But is that really going to fix anything when, in reality, they're just simply going to find ways to work around that? And there's also been a couple of other suggestions where, okay, well, make it so that after a certain amount of time, the end game collapse. Once the end game collapse has concluded, then make it 5 minutes or whatever. After that, then the server automatically shuts down.
So this is something that I actually want to talk about. What you just said, Florence, is that this has to be 16-year-olds. It's no way grown adults are doing this. That is unfortunately not the case. I taught social studies for 4 or 5 years, somewhere in there. And I taught high schoolers. Whenever a high schooler did something like awful or terrible, I didn't really like think too much of it because like they're kids, right? Like they don't know any better. They're still trying to figure out like what their moral compass is or even what a moral compass does. Like they're still trying to figure out who they're going to be. They're just kids, right? So if a kid does something mean, they're like, everybody's like, how did you teach high schoolers? They're so awful. And I'm like, well, they don't know any better. You know, like they're just idiots. Not because they're stupid, but like literally like they don't know any better yet. I've met so many people who mentally have never matured past that point. Ever. They still treat the landscape of their life as if they were 16. As if they were 16. Some people never grow up exactly. Some people never get out of that mentality. Some people only think of the world in those very, very small, very like kind of like pathetic terms. You've seen that a lot. You saw entire like tournaments blow up in DBD recently because of like pettiness and people being awful to each other. Like people cannot go into adult life acting this way, but they do. And that's the awful truth. In a perfect world, you would learn about that and get that all out of all of your system, and then when you become an adult, all that stuff goes away. But unfortunately, that's not how it goes. You think they're sadistic? It was like what I was saying earlier. It's like, I feel like some people really don't know how to be happy. And I mean it. Like some people don't know how to derive happiness without undercutting someone else. Some people, I don't know if they're just lonely, or if they just don't feel like they ever amounted to anything, or if they just don't feel like they have a lot of talent. But the only way they can achieve something special is by undercutting someone else's thing that is also special. The only way they can make it somewhere and make something of themselves is by ruining something else that someone else has. And it can be something like, obviously this is a little bit more visceral because like this is literally interrupting this man's job for attention, right? But it could be something as small as just like, you know, hey, does this dress look pretty on me? And you go, that could be better because, you know, you're jealous. It can be small things like that too, right? Some people can't be happy without undercutting other people. Or trolling. It's trolling. Trolling's like, you know, like for example, like where I'm playing Survivor at night with like Uzi and Fire, and I walk up to Hook and I just like leave them on Hook there for like 5 seconds. And I just stare at them. And then I pull them down, right? Like it's like a made you look. It's like, ha, you thought I wasn't gonna get you off, okay? Like that's trolling, you know, like that's funny. That nothing bad happened as a result of what I was doing. It was just a little, I'm just teasing you, right? But literally like interrupting this man's ability to like pay his bills because I don't know, you're not getting attention, you don't feel special enough, like I think that's not trolling. That's actually just being an awful human being. That's just being terrible, right? There's small but significant people that are so miserable they will tear down 80 people. Yeah, but I love to troll. Like my favorite best to troll other people in MMOs, make some good friends that way. But yeah, but like fun trolling is fine. Actually taking away from someone else, literally taking away from somebody else, that's a different story, right? One of the killer bots will make a comeback? That is a good question. I haven't seen one of those in like a while. Try to ruin other people's days, their lives, or risk more. Yeah, it's just like I said, I feel like a lot of it comes down to just people just not having anything of their own. They don't have a foundation. You know, like they don't have something that like is cool about them. That's something I had to learn the hard way, you know? Like I just had a huge breakup where I had to like really like be like, oh God, like I have to reformat my life like really quickly. But I had a lot of cool things. I had a lot of great friends, great chat, great community full of people. Looking at you. Love the stream, love what I do. I had a lot that was me that I could like hang on to. And I'm still a whole person, even though a big part of what made me just like suddenly went like that, right? I don't think people like this know how to like, I don't think people like this have like that sense of like me. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have that sense of like, there are cool things about me that I like to do that I don't have to take from others, that I don't have to like rely on other people. positive or negative. I don't think they have that like mechanism in their bodies, in their minds. I don't think they have that. Or conversation derived from what's going on in an online video game. Yeah, it's like the psychology, right? That's a psychology of somebody who really goes out of their way to ruin somebody else's time so they can be happy, right? It's toxic and mean and awful. It's just sad. You can't let like those people win, you know?
But the problem is they control everything in the game. So if you don't get the end game collapse to trigger because they're consistently just blowing up generators that the survivors can't finish them that are in the game that are willingly to try to leave normally, then what do? Do you make it so that the game has a total match time of 30 minutes? So if you don't want, regardless of if it's a cheater game or not, the game is going to close after 30 minutes. No match of DVD should last that long anyway, right? You got to think to yourself, what is the better approach? Are you willing, if they go and they take that angle, are you willing to sit there and deal with these shenanigans and this bullshit, quite frankly, for 30 minutes until it's over? What I believe should happen is I believe they should remove the DC penalty for everybody. And everyone just disconnects. Then you can just go next consistently. Yeah, sure, that may mess up some things for queue times or whatever the case may be. But the most important part about all this is that you won't be subject to having to deal with this.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing, Puzzle, to get on what you're alluding to with, like, they make bad choices to be held accountable for, but they want somebody to match their energy. Is like, that was something I found out the hard way while teaching. A lot of kids that just, like, did awful things, their parents didn't give a crap about them, you know? Their parents didn't care. The only way they got attention and got care, even if it was, like, a weird form of it, was if they were in trouble. If they were annoying me. If they were, because that was the only way, like, acting out was the only way to get attention. Right? That's not how the real world works. That's not how the adult world works. It's really not. Sometimes you want something from someone else and they're not going to give that to you. And that's just life, dude. Could be big, could be small. Sometimes you don't get what you want out of things. But a lot of people never grew out of that high school mentality of like, hey, if I act out, everybody starts paying attention to me. You can't ignore me if I start acting out. You know? Some people never grew about that. So that's where that leads. Parents,
for me personally, it's got, you know, and I am a fog whisperer. I am a part of the program where I am losing faith in this. And enough is enough. There's nothing. I'm growing tremendously tired of having to put everything that I'm doing as a career on halt because of this. So how does it get fixed? But there has been nothing. I have stated, just like ATTRIBUTION has, I have stated my frustrations with this directly to the team. And I don't know what's going to happen next. But I can't even play the game.
So he's directly told them? And they just kind of go, like I know we always joke that, like, you know, the Fog Whisperers, like, are kind of just like an honorary title, and the only, like, you're just supposed to uphold this, like, kindness to the game, but you really don't get anything in return. I know we always say that, right? But, like, I don't know, I guess it just kind of hurts to hear, you know? It kind of hurts to hear that somebody who's very clearly passionate and cares about the game a lot reaches out, and that's it. It's just kind of like, yeah, I gave him the sucks to suck mentality. Well put. He's devoted so much of it, like 3 years is a long time, devoted that much time in his life to this game, and they just go, that's dark. That's rough, buddy.
I can't even play the game. DC penalties need to be removed. They need to look into a better anti-cheat and try their best. I don't know, maybe go, you know, I know Vanguard from the right client is the bee's knees. It's really good, but something needs to happen because there needs to be something that enforces the community to report cheaters and stuff like that in a positive light, because you can actually get some feedback back saying, yes, we took action on your report. Because right now it's a joke to everybody.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
How do you guys feel? They said when they introduced the anonymous mode, they said with the anonymous mode that you can report people without the Steam ID, and it works. So my question is, why did they make us submit a ticket all this years if it supposedly worked? Or is that their just way of brushing us off? I'm thinking the latter. The report system has been pointed out by multiple people like Choi for years to like not be an effective way to get people actually like banned and looked at. Everybody's always been like, go submit a ticket instead. That's where we actually pay attention. So now you don't need that anymore? All of a sudden? Just because streamer mode came out? I don't think so. Personally, I know that may be a little tinfoil hat. I can't prove that. I don't think so. I do not think that suddenly the report system suddenly works. I do not think so. I think I don't believe that they somehow just suddenly made the report system work. After years and years of you have to submit a ticket, you have to submit a ticket, you have to submit a ticket. What changed? What happened? The report system never worked and now it does out of nowhere just because you introduced streamer mode. What happened? What did you do? I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
To them. This person is not even here anymore. Yeah, I can run around the entire map right now. I can find the hatch, I can close it, but the game is in a stalemate. There's nothing that I can do about it until the game closes. Hopefully I'll get a new video out to you guys in a couple of days, but I wanted to do something a little bit different and really let you guys in on what happens behind the scenes or when I'm streaming or when I'm trying to just simply just play a match and record some YouTube stuff for you guys. This is what happens. Hopefully it gets sorted soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
My God, dude. That's fucked up. That's just messed up, dude. How can you report something when it comes to streamer and OS mode? It doesn't allow you to see player cloud IDs. But that's what I'm saying. Is like they say you don't need that anymore. They said, believe me, believe us. The in-game report does work. You know, for years we've known it doesn't. And they themselves have said, if you want something done, submit a ticket online on our website. And then out of nowhere, it's like, oh, well, this actually works. This actually works now. What? Timer to kick out a game, like the hacker's just gonna sit there with the hook cheat and it's making them waste their time having. That's what he suggested. He said having like a max time of like a half hour on a game, like how most of these Hogwarts for streamers did the Into the Fog 2022. He hasn't responded to anything. Sure, that's so scary to me, because he said Spooky Loop said he reached out to them. Like, how are you like essentially an ambassador for the game? And you reach out, and that's it, right? And then they're just like, how is that your response? How is that your response? How is that what you take away from that? That's just so crazy to me. How is that your takeaway? It's just like, oh, yeah. This isn't new. This has never been a new thing. Like this hacking situation has been going on for so long. It's never been. This is far from a new thing, and they've been notified before. Why do they just not care? He can't just stop playing DB. It's his job, so now he can get away. Yeah, he has to deal with this. Like if somebody tries to hold me hostage in a 2-hour game, if I was like not streaming, I can just like whatever. I can just eat the DC penalty, go make a sandwich, and watch a YouTube video, and I'm back. But like. You can't do that if that's your job. You can't do it if that's your job. So he's literally losing out on being able to do his job, therefore make money because of this. I wouldn't know what I would do. I'm glad I never went the Fogwas route. Like I would not know how I would react if I went to somebody that was supposed to be like, in charge of me, like it's somebody I'm supposed to like, be representing, and they just kind of like blew me off. I don't know how I would react to that. I would feel so crestfallen. boycott of the game, going to community strike and not spend money on behavior games. That'll never happen. That'll never ever happen. That'll never be a thing, especially considering that the problem is that like it only really affects streamers. If anything, there's like a weird toxic mentality in the community to hate streamers. So I can't imagine people getting together to boycott on behalf of streamers. It's sad, and I wish that they I wish that they would just, I don't know, just say something, man. Just say something. Like, why? Even if the news is bad, I'd rather have news. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather hear something. Like, anything from them. This just, like, complete silence thing. It's just, like, so... I don't know. I don't like it, man. I would rather have bad news that, like, okay, well, the anti-cheat, they found a way around it. We don't really know how to fix it yet, but we are working the best we can to fix it. Like that, even that, something like that would just, like, help so much. But they just don't even give that. It's just so, like... Probably Hodson said, "Okay." It's the thumbs up meme where they're just like, and then they leave, right? Like the crowd of people huddled up, and they go, and then they keep going. You know, that. Yeah. So I don't know. It's really sad. It's really upsetting. But hopefully they do turn around. I really hope they do.